Hello friends, it's Sherry. How you doing today? Welcome to my channel. Welcome to hashtag Tag Tuesday. So Tag Tuesday is an open collab hosted by me, and anyone's welcome to join in. Just use all I ask is just use the hashtag Tag Tuesday in your title so people can find you. And since I'm the host, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel and let me know if you are new to my channel, and I will come over and subscribe to your channel. But also, if you can link my channel in your description box, that would be awesome. So people can find me, and that would be great. So, and I do have a list of participants in my description box with links to their channels. So I will be glad to add you to my list. Anyway, I am working on something that I've been wanting to work on for a few weeks now, and I'm finally getting around to it. And these are quilted tags. So here's one here I made before the video, just to experiment a little bit, and I think it's really cute. And so the back is file folder. Like I like to do is what I like to do is put file folder on the back or some kind of cardstock that can be written on. And then on the front is my decoration. So these are, this is like a quilt piece or a quilt top. It's got, this one particular one has the padding with it. So there is kind of some padding in here. And I just sewed them together, and I have a little button here on the top that I also sewed on with some pink embroidery floss. And I have a little loop here that can be hung on a gift, or if someone wanted to, you could snip this in half and tie it onto something. It just worked out. This just happened, and I'll show you how I did it, or I'll try to if I can repeat it. But I was trying to figure out like the easiest way to do this with the fabric and everything, and being that it was a little, puffy, and the best way to cut it and everything. So what I ended up doing, here's the piece I'm working with, and I just cut my pieces, my tag shapes, out of file folder. Then I glued them on here, and that's what I did with that one. And then I cut it out. And if it's not perfect at this point, don't worry about that. We're going to trim it up later, but just cut it out the best you can. So I'm going to start cutting. But, you have your tag shape here, so you can see where you want to cut. And I did look at the front to see where, where the fabric is and see how it goes. Some goes this way and some goes this way. So that's why my tags are going different ways, because I placed it on the fabric how I thought it would be best when it turns out after I cut it out, right? So yeah, so then I cut it out. We'll do one today on video, and I'll show you, and then I'm going to do some more because I think these are really, really pretty and fun to make. So just cut around your cardstock. Now these particular tags, I decided to do them 2.5. Let me cut a little bit more here. I believe they're 2.5 inches wide and 4 3/4 inches long. I wanted them to be, not too small, not too big, and just kind of a nice size for just about anything where you might want to tag. So that's one side cut. And then here I'm going to cut the other side. This one's actually turning out much more easier to trim as so far. Anyway, I might make a I might not want to speak just yet until I get it cut out. But the other ones, it's just that, with 2 layers of fabric and a little bit of batting in between, it's a little bit thick to cut. So that's why I say don't worry about it if it's not perfect at this point. Just do the best you can and cut around your tag. Okay. See how that's not straight yet? Let's go ahead and cut this corner off. And so I'm gonna, see how it's kind of, I'll show you what I'm talking about. See how it's kind of, now that I cut it, it's kind of like coming apart now. So I'm leaving it on there. I'm not gonna cut anymore right now. And then what I did was take it over to my sewing machine. I put my thread in that I wanted to use. I'm using some ecru thread on these. And I sewed on the back because I can see best on the back where the tag is. I didn't want to sew on the front and then kind of be too far over where maybe my fabric didn't quite, you know, if it was going over the edge, I didn't want it to go off the tag, off of this part of the tag. So I decided that the best thing to do would be sew on the back. So I'm going to go sew, and I'll show you this one more time. I like the ecru color thread with this particular quilt piece because it kind of blends in. Here's what it looks like on the back, just a straight stitch. I think you can probably see that. And okay, so I'm going to go sew, and I will be right back. And see how it's kind of flopping off, but I'm just holding it down. And you can put a little glue under there. If I feel like it's going to move, I would put a little glue in there, but it's not really moving down here. So I'll let you know how it goes, if I needed to put glue under here or not. It's already glued on. This cardstock piece is glued on to the fabric here before I cut it with Fabri-Tac. So it's already glued on this right here. Okay, so I'll be right back after I sew. Okay, so it went pretty good. I did end up putting a little glue up here. This part was fine, but this little part was moving around too much, so I put a little bit of glue just right there, and then, you know, put that together and then finish sewing it. But it came out fine. It came out really nice. And so then I, like on the other one, I went back now after I had the fabric sewn down tightly. I feel like I can cut this now real tight around my, you know, and the fabric's not going to move. So now I can get right up next to the cardstock and finish cutting this fabric so I don't have any, you know, hanging out over the back of my tag or over my cardstock here. So I'll just go all the way around, do a little trim. Some parts are thicker than others, so there we go. That looks good. I think I got it all. A little bit right here. Okay, so there we go. Doesn't that look nice? Yes. Awesome. Yeah, I have been wanting to try this for a while. So then I just see how pretty it is with all the pieces. And so I went to my vintage button jar and picked out a button. And you see how this one is. See the size of this one? This is about the same size. And so I picked out that size because I wanted to put it up here, and I wanted it to stick up a little bit, at least have this hole right here stick up above the top of the tag a little bit, so that I could put a loop through here, through the button, and not through the tag. So that's when I went and got some embroidery floss, cut a piece. Now, see, I wasn't planning on making that loop like that, like I did, but I'll show you. I'm going to try to show you how I ended up doing that, if I can repeat it, because I've never done that before, and it just worked out. Okay, so let me put that glue out of the way. So this time, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't planning on doing that, so I didn't really, you know, plan on leaving enough for a loop, but this time I am going to plan on leaving enough for a loop. It's probably a little bit longer than that one, so we'll see how this one turns out. So I have this, and I have my button, and then I have my needle. This needle has a fairly large eye in it, so but I'm still using a little needle threader here because this, you know, the embroidery floss is much thicker than thread, so I just thread it with my little needle threader here. It makes it much easier than trying to get it through there without it. So I just pull it through. When you're done with that, just make sure I just left a little tail here you know, when I put it through the eye of the needle, and just enough so that I can kind of hold on to it, and I hopefully won't pull it through, right? And then I put a little knot in the end here, and I try to get it as close to the end as possible, so I'm not wasting any thread. And just one one knot. I didn't feel the need for a double knot here or anything, just a nice tight one knot. And then I put my button on here with my, see how this has 4 holes. So I put it like this, so this button's on the top because that's where I'm going to make my loop. So I did like this, and I started on the bottom. And then I poked a hole. Let me make sure I get this in the middle. Okay, I think that's the middle. Then I poked a hole from front to back so I can see where I'm going. Okay, so now I've got my hole there on the bottom of my tag. So I went ahead then, so now I'm knowing where I'm going, so I put my needle through there, and then I put my button back on there. I've got this glue I've got to get off my finger here. It's kind of driving me a little bit crazy. I don't mind glue on my fingers, but I don't like it sticking out all over the place. Okay, now I can concentrate. Okay, so I've got my needle through there. Then I just pulled it through. I didn't need a thimble or anything. And I've got my knot, so I should be able to just pull it up to my knot. And then I went up to the top. And I've got that little hole. You can see right here, or I'll tell you how it is in case you can't see it. I can see my tag, and it covers about half the hole. So I have about half the hole without tag, and half the hole is on my tag. So then I just went down because I have room to sew through that hole, so I can sew through that hole in through the tag, and then pull it through. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing that I did when I started this hole. I'm going to poke a hole through here, front to back, so I know where I'm going. Otherwise, you could try to poke a hole through, and you might be in the wrong spot, and then you're going to end up making a bunch of pokey holes, and then your tag won't be as pretty, right? Because you have all these pokey holes in the back of it. So, see, now I know where I'm going, so I can poke my needle right through that hole that I just poked from front to back. Okay, and go right through my hole. See, I just know right where I'm going. Okay. Make it tight. You want it tight. And then for this one, you know where you're going. You're going right over here. There you go. And I didn't feel the need to put it through more than once. This is so many, like, it's so many, I don't know how many threads are in here, but it's probably as many threads as you would do if you were sewing on it's probably more than you would do if you were sewing on a button, actually, if you're just sewing on a button with regular thread. So there's plenty of thread through there, is what I'm getting at. So at this point, what I did was I just made a loop. So I just see how I'm coming out the back, and I went around the front and made my little loop, poked it through. Okay, so I've got my loop here. I can take my needle off. So before I tied my knot here for my loop that we're going to have, our little hanging loop, I cut off the extra so this wouldn't be in my way when I'm trying that first knot that we made, and we have a little bit of extra thread there. I went ahead and cut off that so I wouldn't have that too much of that sticking out the back of my. Just don't cut off your knot. Don't cut off your knot that your original knot. Okay, so you've got your loop. You've got where you took your needle off, your little tail. So then I just pull my loop up where I wanted it and leave enough room for yourself to tie a double knot here. On this part, I did tie on double knot, and I got it real close up here to the tag. It's nice tight, and then another double knot, another knot, so a double knot, nice and tight. And then I cut off the extra, pretty close to my knot without cutting off pretty close to my double knot without cutting it off or anything. So, something like that. And there you go. Pretty cool, right? So you can do it all with one piece of embroidery floss. So And then you can decorate this if you want. I'm going to leave it like this. A little thread there, a little fraying going on. But aren't those cute and pretty? So my one I wanted to make these because I thought they would be so cute with quilted fabric on them. And you know, it's already quilted for me, so I don't have to try to put pieces together. So, but I also had, if you watch my video from last Sunday, if you haven't seen it, I showed you I think it was last Sunday, where I showed you my fabric drawers. And in the one drawer, I have my pieces, or like I said, fat quarters, the ones that they're up on their side and they're kind of pretty organized. And so I went into that drawer and I straightened it up. And as I was straightening it up, I said, I know I have some quilt pieces in here, and I know I wanted to make these tags. So this is going to be it. And so I pulled out. I'm going to make some more of these with this, but I'm just going to show you the fabrics that I pulled out in the quilt pieces. So I pulled this one out. This was probably my favorite. I don't know why. It's just I like all these different fabrics together. I mean, aren't they cool? They're just I got all of these at a thrift stores, you know. And somebody sewed these, looks like random pieces of fabric together. And I don't know what they were making because it was just a little piece. It didn't start off as a big quilt or anything. It was just a piece. Maybe they're making a pillow or something. But just random cute pieces of fabric that I just thought were so pretty. So anyway, that one I decided to start with first. So I'm going to make those two more and use up, you know, all of this fabric making tags. And I also pulled out I went through and pulled out all of the quilted pieces from that drawer. So I'll show you what I found. And I have some quilted pieces in my shop. And so if I use up all these and those quilted pieces are still in my shop, I'm going to go and take them from myself and make some more because I think these are really cool. So here's another one. You can see I made some hearts out of this right here. I cut some hearts out. But I have plenty more to have fun with. And won't that be fun to place these? This would be cute. Like this with the fabric going that way. So you can really have fun with if you have some quilt pieces. So this one has the batting too. So I'll leave that on there, and there's some threads on here, but I'll leave that on there and make them more, let them be more puffy quilt tags. And then the ones that are just quilt tops, like this one, no batting, there's no batting. I will, just use what I have like this. So, I can turn my tags any which way I want. Like I could put one here. I could put one here, and I'll get all of these pieces right here and just really mix it up type of thing, however I think it'll look pretty. So that's another one. Oh, and again, random pieces. Random pieces. Let me see. I don't think I got any of these at the same time as the others. They're all just through the years pieces I've collected. So that one. This is a piece of a cantha quilt. You can tell because it looks like fabrics from India, and they always usually have this stitch running through, this like running stitch, and it looks like a boho type fabric. So won't that be some pretty tags? I can mix that up. Even if it was a solid piece, it would be beautiful right here, right? So that one. This one here is the squares, and no batting on this one. The cantha didn't have any batting either, but that'll be pretty. I can put them wherever, half and half, or in the middle, in the corners, and stuff like that. And then this is a strip that I got from a friend in Happy Mail. Actually, I didn't get this at a thrift store. I believe this came in Happy Mail. Who you are who sent it to me. So these are Raggedy Ann and Andy's. So wouldn't that be fun? Let me see how tall this is. These might be a little shorter because I'm gonna want these to go in, if I can, put them in the right direction. Like here's Andy, so he could go this way, but Raggedy Ann's over here, so I could put her like right there. So yes, I think this will be fun. And I think I have stuff put away for a Raggedy Ann book the Raggedy Ann journal, so I could make some for my Raggedy Ann journal. I have quite a bit here. I could put a few in my shop, stuff like that. So I'm going to have some fun with these, and I'll let you know how they turn out. But I just wanted to share this with you tonight because since I've been wanting to do it, you know, just give you let you know how I did it. And I kind of think, because you know, I mean, you could really stress yourself out if you're trying to cut out your fabric and your, you know, and measure and put, you know, cut your fabric, cut your tag, and then put it together. And I just thought, you know, doing it like this, I think you'll save yourself, if you do want to try this, I think you'll save yourself a lot of stress. And I think this is a really easy way to do it. It was for me anyway, so I hope if you try it, that you'll try it that way too, and you will see that it's pretty easy, I think. So thanks for watching today. I hope you enjoyed. Check in all the participants, because search that hashtag and see what people are doing, because or what they've done in the past, because there's some awesome ideas out there for tags if you need some. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy crafting and happy Tag Tuesday.